should I buy a Gretsch White Falcon with the money earned from this channel? So this year 2022 has been really insane for me. My channel completely blew up, or I guess that's relative, but to me it has been really impactful. And there is this saying that you will always have problems, so the challenge is to increase the quality of your problems, and I feel like me being able to even ask this question in the first place is something that I'm really grateful to have as a problem and as a question to ask in the first place. And the reason I'm even able to ask this question is because of you that have been watching this channel, so therefore I want to involve you in this question. And the main issue I have with this question of getting the Falcon is, will it improve the quality of this channel for you that are watching, or will it come off as completely materialistic? Because so far I have used the money I've earned from this channel to increase the quality and workflow, but now I've reached a point where I'm unsure what the next investment is to increase the viewing experience for you that are watching. And immediately when I say that what is the next new investment, I hear this counter argument, oh, why does there need to be a new investment? Why can't I just save the money or use it for myself? But what we have to understand here is that the money that this channel earns doesn't go into my pocket, but instead it goes into my company. And even though I'm pretty much the only one in the company, that makes quite a large of a difference. And I've really tried this year to understand how it works with tax laws and everything like that for a business. And from my understanding, the money that is left in the company at the end of the year will count as profit, and on that I have to pay 20% in taxes. And then if I want to get the money out of the company into my own pocket as dividend, I have to pay another 20% taxes on that, and that is only up to a quite low threshold. If I go above that threshold with a higher amount of money, then I have to pay even higher tax rates. And then finally, when I buy something as an individual person, I have to pay taxes just like everyone else on that purchase. But if I instead reinvest the money into the company, I bypass all of these three tax layers, because if I buy, for example, the Falcon, it will count as a business expense, so that will reduce my profit. And also, since I buy it within the company, I don't have to pay the dividend tax, and also I can buy that Falcon completely tax-free. And also it sounds kind of funny that buying a Falcon would be a business expense, but that is why it has been my goal to turn my passion into a business, because then fun things like a white Falcon counts as a business expense, which is really cool. But anyway, because of all these tax rules, it feels a bit irresponsible to not reinvest the money into the company. There is a large incentive for me to do that because of these tax laws. But then my fear of getting the Falcon is that it will put the focus on the wrong things, remove focus from creativity and inspiration and all that, and move focus towards materialism, which is not the message I want to get across with this channel. And I said in the past that I do not believe that fancy music gear and materialism brings you long-term happiness. However, I do believe that if you have a clear idea on how you can actually use those material objects, then they can become really valuable tools. So for the case of the Falcon, the way I do believe it can be really valuable is if I commit to be as creative as I possibly can and as hardworking on a consistent basis as I possibly can to finalize these creative ideas and projects with it, as content on this channel. But as soon as I become too lazy to work on these creative ideas and make them happen, I do believe that the Falcon kind of loses its value, and the only value it has left is its resale value. So from this perspective, I do think it makes sense for me to get the Falcon, because then it becomes an investment and a commitment for me to continue to be as creative and as hardworking as I possibly can with this channel. But again, what do you think that are watching this channel? Do you think that me getting the Falcon will improve your viewing experience? And if you do think it's a good idea to get the Falcon, we obviously have the next question, which is, which model should I get then? And when I look for a Falcon, there are 4 design features, or whatever to call it, that I'm looking after. And the 4th one is a bit tricky, so we'll take that one last. But the first 3 are the headstock design, where I really prefer the vertical Gretsch logo design. I don't like the horizontal design or the one with a block or something like that. And then we get to the fretboard inlays, where I prefer the engraved hump blocks. Funny name, but I think those look really beautiful. And finally, for the tailpiece design, I really like the Cadillac tailpiece. I think that one looks really clean. Obviously you don't get the benefit of having that vibrato effect available, but at the same time I don't really associate the Falcon with that kind of effect and that kind of playing. And I do think that the Cadillac design looks really clean compared to a Bixby. And what we can note here is that all of these three design features are the same as Frusciante's old Falcon. So if we take a look at new Falcon models that are available today, there are one model that fulfills all of these three design features, and that is the G6136-55 Vintage Select. But there is one obvious problem with the 55, and I'm not talking about the different amount of knobs or switches, but obviously the problem is the TB Jones T Armand single coil pickups in the 55, while Frusciante's original White Falcon had the legendary Filtertron pickups. But then if you take a look at new models which has the Filtertron pickups, we find the G6136TG and G6136T-MGC. But the issue with these are that they have the Bixby, but I do think I could compromise with the Bixby because that could be a cool feature, even though I prefer the clean Cadillac design. But the deal breaker for me really is the fretboard inlays. I really do not prefer these neoclassic thumbnail fretboard inlays or the big block fretboard inlays that these two guitars have. So that puts me in a position where there are no new White Falcon model that fulfills all of these four design features that I prefer. However, as you perhaps have noticed, Frusciante's new White Falcon that is used on tour in 2022 has these single coil pickups. And also in general, I do prefer single coil pickups over humbucker pickups, even though I do have to admit that the Filtertron pickups have sounded really amazing in the past. And overall, when I look at the 55 Vintage Select model, I just get this gut feeling that, you know, this guitar really appeals to me and there isn't something that really throws me off and is a deal breaker like I feel like it is with the other new models that are out there. And now I hear two counter arguments that I want to address, and the first one is that I could get an older Falcon model, a used one, which has all of these four design features, you know, the headstock, the inlays, the tailpiece and the right pickups, the Filtertron pickups. But my problem with that is that I want to make use of the tax laws as a business and buy a new Falcon completely tax-free. And the other counter argument I hear is that I could get the 55 Vintage Select model and then just install Filtertron pickups in that guitar, but my problem with that is that I'm really terrified to modify such an expensive and beautiful instrument. So my original plan would be to keep the stock pickups, but over time perhaps that could change if I become more confident in changing the pickups, or if the single coil pickups really throws me off or something like that. So if you think it's a good idea for me to get the Falcon, which model would you have gotten and why? So yeah, that is the video, and again I want to just say thank you very much for this year that has been 2022. It has been a really amazing year for me, even though it has been quite a rough year in general, and I'm really looking forward for this new year 2023 to share new creative ideas and just have fun with it. And yeah, that is it. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.